Hey there, I'm Zach with Colony Roofers. Today we're going to go over roof repair tips that every homeowner should know. Stay tuned for more details. If you have a roof leak, it may be tempting to go ahead and try and fix it yourself. Or maybe you have somebody that's a maintenance technician at your property, or someone that you think, hey, I'll give them a shot and see if they can replace it. Well, let's go through a couple things that if you do decide you want to try it on yourself and you'd like to try and save a little bit of money, there are definitely roof repairs that a property owner can do on their own. And we're going to go through today just some of the tips that you need to keep in mind in order to make sure that you do it effectively and that you do it safely at the same time. So the first thing that I'm going to always suggest is that you dress appropriately. You probably didn't expect that was going to be the number one tip for homeowners or for property owners that are interested in doing their own roofing work. But it's extremely important. First off, wear long pants. You're going onto a surface that is not much different than asphalt. It's a highly granulated surface if you're getting onto a shingle roof. If you're getting onto a flat roof, there's still things on the flat roof that could rub up against your legs. Grease, different solvents that have been used on some of the mechanical equipment up there. So just make sure that you wear long pants. You don't have to wear a long sleeve shirt necessarily. That's just based on temperature and what the weather's like. But the other piece of dressing appropriately, and probably the most important piece of dressing appropriately, is going to be what shoes you wear. Make sure you wear rubber bottom shoes. If you're interested in getting on an asphalt shingle roof, there are shoes that are specifically designed for getting on shingle roofs. Make sure that you get some of those shoes before you go on to your own roof and end up in your front yard because you decided that you didn't want to spend the extra $100 to do it safely. So make sure you have long pants on, make sure you have proper shoes, then go ahead and take a shot at hopping up there. All right, the next tip I have for homeowners looking to do their own roofing work is make sure you use like kind material. Okay, it can be tempting. Maybe you have a bundle of shingles from a previous property or from another property laying in your garage. Your neighbor has some shingles and says, hey, Bobby, you can use my shingles. Don't do that, okay? Look for a like kind material. Home Depot and Lowe's luckily carry quite a plethora of different shingle options. You want to look for like kind color and like kind shingles from a functional standpoint. That means 3-tab shingles need to be replaced with 3-tab shingles, and architectural shingles need to be replaced with architectural shingles. You, even if you can, want to get as close to the same brand as you can. Sometimes you can, like CertainTeed, for example, if you pull a shingle off your roof and you look on the back of it, you'll actually be able to see the CertainTeed logo on the laminate that's on the back of it. So just make sure that when you're up there and you're replacing things that are existing on your roof, that you're replacing it with like kind and you're not using some random foreign material. It'll just save you a lot of headaches down the road and make sure that your roof lasts as long as possible. All right, so the third tip I have is going to be related to vents and flashings. You need to pay a lot of attention to those. Let's say you've gone ahead, gotten yourself dressed appropriately, like we talked about in tip 1. And tip 2, you've gotten your like kind materials situated. You feel like you have a good idea of what you need in order to make the repairs to your roof or the maintenance. The next thing is you want to make sure when you go up on the roof that you spend a lot of time and pay attention to the vents and the flashings that are on the roof. Typically, vents and flashings are going to be used around roof penetrations. That's almost always where you'll find them. And what a roof penetration is anywhere where there's been an intentional hole made in the roof deck and where we have to actually meet the shingles or the TPO or the PVC to that roof penetration. And so you'll find that probably 95% of the leaks that we see at Colony are around vents and flashing areas. And so when you go up there and you take a look at it and you're trying to maintain the roof or trying to repair a specific leak, just pay a lot of attention to those specific areas that have vents and flashings around them. All right, the next homeowner tip I have for deciding you want to work on your own roof, make sure you don't just use caulking for everything on your roof. I can't tell you how many times we go up on a roof and find caulking or Flex Seal. Everybody's seen, the guy that goes and on the infomercial, Flex seals the bottom of his boat, and he has, I think it's a screen door on the bottom of his boat. That's not the way to fix a roof. I've actually even seen it where people tried to Flex seal from the interior of their home. They went up in the attic and Flex sealed from the inside. And I found myself thinking that's a very interesting way to try and fix an external water leak, because they basically trapped it now into the wood structure of the home. But nonetheless, the important tip is not everything is fixed with caulking. And in some instances, like Flex sealing the inside of your attic, you can make things worse than they were before. So try to assess what you got going on there. Obviously, Google is a great friend in trying to understand what you're looking at. Understand the exact spot on the roof. If you're looking at a vent or a flashing, maybe that flashing needs to be replaced. Maybe that vent needs to be replaced. And caulking is not a sustainable answer to this solution. All right, so the next tip I have for property owners that want to try and either repair or maintain their own roofing system is pay a lot of attention to exposed fasteners. That could be on a flat roofing system where a fastener maybe wasn't installed properly when the roofing system was originally installed. One of the more common ones on shingle roofing is nail pops, and specifically exposed nails. So maybe the installer of the original roof nailed the shingle lower than it was supposed to be nailed. It wasn't nailed on the nail line of the shingle. And so now you have just a roofing nail that's completely exposed to the weather. Over time, those will rust out pretty quickly. Once the roof is installed, you can have leakage going straight through that nail because it's completely open to the elements. So just pay a lot of attention to exposed fasteners when you're up there trying to repair your own roof or to do maintenance on the roof. They're one of the biggest points of leak opportunities on any type of roofing system. All right, so the last tip I have for property owners wanting to maybe maintain or repair their own roof is to really pay attention to whether the roof needs to be replaced or not. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're up on a roof that really should have been replaced, and it causes safety hazards for you or for a maintenance person that you've decided to have take on that task. There's no cost to reach out to us. Most companies, most reputable companies, will do that free of charge. Go ahead and have somebody that knows what they're looking at come out and take a look at it. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to use that company down the road. You don't want to find yourself climbing on a really granulated shingle roof, or maybe even a commercial building that has skylights that are worn out. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of people going up on a metal building and falling through the skylights because they were so dirty they couldn't tell that they were skylights, or falling off of an asphalt shingle roof because the shingles had lost all of their granules. And if you haven't been on one, it's like walking on an ice skating rink when a shingle roof has gotten highly granulated. So just be safe. Get a licensed roofing contractor to come take a look at it, give you an opinion as to whether it can be repaired or if it needs to be replaced. You can also watch our video. We have a video specifically on deciding whether to repair or replace.